Unfortunately, scenes like this are all too painfully familiar to many of us here in Elk County, Pennsylvania. In this community, getting drunk or high seems to be the traditional rite of passage into adulthood. In fact, drinking alcohol is about as common as drinking water. Drinking is not only accepted, it's expected. That which many consider harmless fun or a normal way of life is often very destructive, ending in tragedies such as the ones you've seen or other tragic ways. Jelaine O'Leary was born and raised in Kersey, Pennsylvania. Both her father and mother worked at local factories. As a little girl, Jelaine played with her older brother, Jason. She enjoyed going on picnics with her brother and her parents, Mike and Cindy. She liked helping her mother with the housework, and she would often go four-wheeling with her dad and brother. As she grew into a young woman, her interest turned towards cheerleading, proms, and dating. In her senior year of high school, Jelaine was more focused on academics and her future, getting good grades and preparing for college. She wanted a career where she could help others, so she chose physical therapy. She was accepted at Pitt University at Bradford. Jamie Holjensen, also born and raised in Elk County, grew up similar to Jelaine. Both her father and mother, Jack and Lorraine, worked in local factories. She had two brothers, Johnny and Joey. Being the only girl in the family, her father always referred to her as his princess. Jamie enjoyed swimming, shopping with her mother, and playing with her little poodle, Nikki. Her mother describes her as a very loving daughter, thoughtful of others, and she made friends easily.
Hey, I like those hand movements, James.
What are you gonna name them, darlings?
Junior.
Jamie loved helping older people, whether it was getting medicine for them or waiting on them at the Hilltop Diner, where she worked as a teenager.
Jamie was just a very outgoing person. Just out at our restaurant, everybody, they loved her. You know, everybody that she worked with and all the customers that come in. She was just kind of like that free spirit and just did her thing and was real nonchalant about what she did and just happy-go-lucky, and everybody just loved her.
And she loved older people. She just loved, like, she worked down the Hilltop and she befriended so many people, and she just would sit there and talk to them, and she loved coffee and sit there and have a cup of coffee and just talk to them. She just was so loving, and she cared about her mom and dad so much that she done anything for you.
Jelaine has been one of my best friends since 6th grade, and she was always there for me. And sometimes we drifted apart and we went our own way, but we always seemed to get back together. And in 10th grade was my hardest year because I got pregnant. And she was always there for me, and she threw me my baby shower.
We tried to plan school together. We did everything so we could go to the same college. But something always happened. Either I didn't get accepted to where she did, or she didn't get accepted or didn't want to go where I wanted to go. So finally we agreed, you know, she was going to go to Bradford. I was going to go to Penn State.
I looked up to her like you'd look up your big sister. You know, she was the one I idolized. And she was the one I ran to when somebody picked on me. And before she was leaving for school, I seen her in Du Bois. And she said, you know, you're going to have to be okay when I'm gone. I said, I'll be okay. She said, yeah. She said, I toughened you up.
Jamie and Jelaine had the longest of the friendships since kindergarten. And Jelaine had so many friends in the neighborhood and through the school years and everything. And they were always, all her friends were always welcome here. But when Jamie came, it was just giggles, just constant. They just brought the best out in each other. They had a very unique friendship, and they still do to this day.
A culture steeped in alcohol would bring this community to its knees, searching for answers, as tragedy strikes too close to home. On August 21st, 1997, childhood friends Jelaine O'Leary and Jamie Holjensen, both 18, were out for a night of fun and freedom before Jelaine started college classes as a freshman in just 3 days. Mike O'Leary was at home watching television when a friend of Jelaine's called and said that there had been a traffic accident and was afraid that Jelaine had been involved.
I drove down. Before the Pizza Hut, you could see the fire engines and ambulance and flashing lights and everything. No traffic could get by either way. All 4 lanes of traffic were stopped. Closest I could get was the Ford garage. I parked there and ran down to McDonald's. Seen her car there. It was like roped off with tape the way they do. Police officer found me, or I found him, I don't know. Turned out to be Officer Lovett.
And upon my arrival, I seen that there was a female laying out in the medial strip, which is the turning lane behind me out here, where the vehicles would be turning into the plaza of McDonald's. She was laying next to a vehicle that appeared to be cut in half to me. I seen a vehicle to my right, just before that vehicle where the female was laying, with several individuals in it. I got out of my patrol car, and people were running towards the vehicle and the lady that was laying in the middle of the road. I looked into the car. There was another 18-year-old female behind the driver's wheel. Her legs were pinned up against the dash, and she was laying on her back. The vehicle appeared to be cut in half, and initially when I seen it, that's what I thought had happened. And I was looking for the rest of the car to see if there were any more occupants in it. The back of the vehicle, in actuality, was struck from behind by the red car that I had come upon on the right-hand side when I was approaching the other one, to the severity that it pushed the entire back end of the vehicle all the way up to the front passenger seat, drove the back seat up underneath the 2 front passengers, and pinned the driver in the car, and the other one was ejected onto the roadway. While on the scene, it wasn't too long after we had arrived on scene, another officer arrived shortly after I did. A man came from McDonald's behind me there, the McDonald's restaurant, and it happened to be the father of the woman who was driving the car, who was deceased in the car. We had immediately stopped him from coming to the car. He knew it was his daughter's car, and he was told to go to the hospital. We did not want him to see the condition of his daughter the way it was on the scene at that time.
And they took us in to, I don't know what they call that room they have there, but it's the same room they took us to when my father died, so I figured it was not going to be good, that and the damage that was done to the car. I knew it had to be bad. And we just waited there for, I don't have any idea how long, before anybody would come and give us a report on the condition of either of the girls. And that's when someone came and said that there would be tubes and this and that, and that they were going to transfer her to Pittsburgh, and they were going to let us say goodbye, and we went out to say goodbye, and it turned out not to be Jelaine, it was Jamie, and Cindy asked her to hold on. Then we went back to the room and waited longer. They told us she was dead.
We've learned that you don't have to be the drunk driver to be the one killed, because in our situation, he wasn't the one that was killed. There was 3 boys in that car, and none of them were killed. It was two girls stopped at a red light, waiting for the light to turn green, that lost their lives because of somebody playing Russian roulette with their lives.
I have a little grandchild that she can't even enjoy because she's not here. And I think about my little grandson. He's deprived because that's the only aunt that he had, and he doesn't even have her now.
This year I heard of incidents where people fell out of windows, college students froze to death going home from New Year's Eve parties when they passed out in the snow. That's risking your own life. But getting behind the wheel when you're drunk, you're risking your own life, you're risking your best friends' lives.
It could be anybody's family, anybody's baby brother, baby sister, anybody's grandmother, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, cousins. It could be anybody sitting at a red light or driving down a highway and have this happen.
Horrible. I miss Jelaine so much. Every day I miss her. It's horrible that she had to die because somebody was stupid and got behind the wheel drunk.
The kids also have to remember that if they're the ones drinking and driving, can they live with that the rest of their lives? To go out and kill somebody. You know, that's, maybe you survive, but that's your conscience the rest of your life also. And they have to remember, is that something that they're going to be able to live with and see the grief that they've caused, you know, and the grief that they've brought upon themselves and their family also.
I just want these kids to think before they do get in a car. I just want them to know what can happen, and it hurts so bad.
Here they are walking out into the ocean with not a care in the world, and Jamie's turning around to hold Jelaine's hand. Jelaine's reaching out to hold Jamie's hand. It was like, it looks like they're just walking off together with not a care in the world, and that's how they ended up, together without a care in the world.